Hello guys, this is Nick from HF Survival School. Thank you very much for joining me. Today I want to show you an upgraded version of my Bushcraft belt.
Yeah, sure.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Who cares about that junk?
Oh, you mean this belt? Take my money, take my wallet, where can I get it? So the first item is this handmade pulko, which is currently for sale. It is brand new, I have never used it. But if I had the luxury of leaving this kind of handmade knives for myself, I would leave it for sure. It comes with this wedge 10 beautiful leather sheath with basket weaving and some decorations, wet formed with a plastic liner, edge burnished as you see, and this would make a great kind of secondary knife, maybe a knife for food preparation or making feather stick or kind of fine work. I would definitely not have used this knife, but it would definitely take it because it has a pinned handle as you see, which means that the blade goes all the way through the handle, comes out here, and I have hammered it in a small kind of a socket in which the blade is mushroomed out, so there's no way of this handle coming undone. It is beautiful curly birch, red and blue vulcanized liners, brass bolster and end cap. High carbon steel, it is razor sharp. I even cut my finger with it today. So my primary knife in most cases is usually one of these two. So this first one is the Demand MT5. I just love this knife. Full flat grind. It has a very sharp edge. I always sharpen it and strop it. It is very tough, has a nice 90-degree spine, even more, I think it is even more than 90 degrees, so it catches a ferro rod very easily and makes some amazing sparks. And it didn't came with this sheath, but I made this sheath custom for it, for myself, as you see. The sheath which comes with it is not bad, but it has a small belt loop, so for my big belt I made this custom sheath because of that, and I think it came out just great. It is wet formed as you see, so when you put it in, it has that kind of snap. And the second knife, of course, is the old famous Mora heavy duty. As you see, it is also mirror polished. It has quite a patina and even a little bit of rust from winter when I forgot to clean it. I'm a really big fan of this knife. I also filed the back of it to make a 90-degree spine, and now it can strike a ferro rod. Now on the sheath, this plastic sheath also doesn't fit my big belt, so I made a small adapter, as you see, which goes on the plastic sheath, and this way it can fit my big belt. I have even made a video about it, so if you haven't seen that, please click the card. For my fire starting options, I have two options. Of course, I don't carry both of them at once. One is a ferro rod, which was handled by me very long time ago. I think maybe 2 years or even more than that. I have been using this ferro rod a lot, and it still has a lot of life in it. I also made this belt loop, kind of sheath or holster for it. As you see, it is also well used. All of my gear is well used, and it is well trusted. The next fire starting option I have, this is the only thing that except the belt, which I have not made on my belt. I think this came from flintandsteel.com. It is a flint and steel fire kit, which comes with this high carbon steel striker, some flints, some jute twine, and some char cloth. I have also used this a lot, and flint and steel fire is my kind of favorite method of starting a fire. Then this belt loop for my hatchet actually is the first item that I ever made from leather. I think it was like 3 years ago, and this is what started my whole journey in leather making and in knife making also. when I realized that I needed some kind of option to carry my hatchet, I came to the decision to make it myself. As you see, it is by far not my beautifulest work, but as long as it works, who cares, dude? Then comes my Husqvarna hatchet. I have this was also one of my first projects, a small leather collar to protect the neck, and the sheath. As you see, the sheath also has a welt. Also not one of my most beautiful works, but it works great and it fits great. As you see, I always mirror polish all of my blades, at least I try to. And I'm a very big fan of this hatchet. It is very cheap and I can recommend it to any one of you, especially who are my subscribers. You guys have seen me use this for a long time and in many videos, winter, summer, it doesn't matter, hiking, bushcrafting or anything. It is quite heavy because it has kind of quite thick profile and it is great for splitting, but it is also a great chopper because it is very sharp. The next item I have on my belt is this water bottle pouch. Half-liter water bottle goes inside. This design, I think, was inspired by Bo Drillas. He is an amazing Swedish bushcrafter. It is also adjustable, so you can put a bigger size bottle in it. And one thing I still couldn't manage to get is a nesting cup for this, so that they could both go inside together. And it will be a great kind of water filtration, hydration system. But until I can get my stainless steel cup for this, I'm using this Uberleben Kuxa, very high quality Kuxa. It is better than my older one, so this is my primary one now. It has a small carabiner and I usually hang it from my belt loop, or in this case on this D-ring on my pants, and it doesn't bother me a lot. And when I need it, if I come to a water source or something, I can just take it off and drink water. So if you don't have a Kuxa, another option is to get this kind of horn. This is my father's horn, which I was using until I got the Kuxa. It has a hole in the middle, in the bottom, so you can attach some cordage and can hang it from your belt or something. As you see, it is a very old horn. It is from 1979 and says Mamuka, which is my father's name. So that is an also great option. The next item on my belt is the Buckle Laplander. You guys have also seen this saw with me for years now. I have used and abused it, and it is really a bulletproof folding saw, and until I can afford the silky saw, this works great. This sheath, I made it after I realized that I needed some kind of option to carry the saw with me. So as you see, it is saddle stitched all the way. It has a dangler sheath with 2 snaps so that you can remove it from your belt if it is an emergency, or if you don't want to take off your belt completely. Now, one of the latest items which I added on my belt kit is this dump pouch, which I realized that I need a lot when I'm out in the woods. It opens like this. It has 2 snaps, and when you open this, a really big pouch comes out, as you see. This dump pouch, I find it very useful. If I'm walking in the woods, I always have this on my belt last few months. Because, for example, if I'm looking for some firewood, I will put in some kindling, or if I'm looking for some mushrooms, I can put in some mushrooms, or strawberries, or berries, or millions of stuff which you meet on the trail. You can collect it right here. If you don't want to kind of make your pockets dirty and stuff. When you are done, when you are back to camp, you just fold it like this. And as you see, it gets very small. And it doesn't bother you at all. Just like that. On the back side, it has a big belt loop which goes on my big belt. Speaking about belts, my belt hasn't changed. This is the old Soviet Russian officer belt. It is very durable, quite high quality, even though it is like at least 30 years old. I would recommend covering any leather items which you have. Especially I always cover the items which I make with some natural beeswax when I make them, and when I use them a lot, then of course I cover it with another coat of beeswax, because that makes it waterproof, and that kind of brings back the oils in leather, and it will last you a whole lot longer. Now, of course, this is a lot of gear, and I don't carry it at once on my belt, but it really depends on the kit. For example, if I'm on a day hike, or if I'm on a multiple day trip, or if I'm on a kind of scouting mission, finding some nice places for overnighters and stuff in the woods. But for example, if I'm on that kind of scouting mission, I will have my water bottle with me. I will have my primary knife, which will be Mora or the Demand. I will have a ferro rod, a dump pouch, kuksa or some kind of cup, and it depends. I may even take my saw with me. And I mostly have one more leather pouch, which I showed in the previous video. If you haven't seen that, please click the card. I forgot to take that pouch with me today, but it is a small kind of this size pouch, in which I have my first aid kit, a small amount of snacks and stuff like that. So if I'm on a multiple day hike, I usually have my hatchet with me, my saw, my primary knife. I may even have a secondary knife on me, on front of me, that kind of Viking style. I don't usually take my water bottle with me, with this pouch I mean, when I'm on a multiple day trip, because usually I'm just around camp doing some small stuff, and the dump pouch 100%. Usually I always have a book with me. Today I have this book by Sun Tzu. It is called Art of War. It is a Russian copy, because I couldn't get my hands on a Georgian copy. It is about war and how to be a leader in war and how to take your army in battle and stuff like that. But if you think about it a little bit deeply and you think about it twice, then you will realize that it is about life, and it gives you some great advices. I'm about halfway through it. I think I will finish it until I leave the woods today. But it is a very good book, which I definitely recommend you to read. The other item which I always have with me is this notepad, in which it's just a regular notepad with leather cover. I got this from GearBest. It has clean pages inside, so that I can write in it. And usually I write stuff like, what am I thinking when I'm here out in the outdoors, in the quiet, listening to the birds? What am I thinking? What have I learned? What have I done wrong? So that when I get back home, I read it and I realize, and I take a lesson from it. Because being here and doing something wrong, you don't really realize it. But when you are writing it, and when you are getting home and reading about it and realizing what you did wrong, then you will learn it and you will understand it, so that for next time you won't do the same thing. So I think that sums it up. As you saw, most of the items on my belt kit are made by me. My latest project was this knife, which is available for sale on my Etsy shop. If you need any kind of orders, I can make custom orders, custom leather stuff, custom knives for you. Just message me or visit my Etsy shop. If I don't have anything listed on my Etsy shop, then just message me if you want anything, and I'm sure we can work that out. I make ferro rods, I make stuff from leather, and I make knives. I know you guys missed my kind of overnight trips and kind of survival training in the woods type of videos. But I won't make you guys wait for too long. I have a few trips planned, and stay tuned for that. And if you are not already subscribed, definitely give a subscribe, so that you don't miss my awesome videos. So thank you very much for watching, and see you guys in the next one.